This video is sponsored by the Seaport Hotel. When you visit, stay at Churchill's only full amenity hotel. Okay, here I'm rolling up to what's known as the golf balls. They were a radar station used to track the rocket launches from the nearby rocket range in the 1960s. Also part of the Seaballs project, it's been painted too. Cool. You can see the little rusty radar apparatuses up inside the domes. So I'm gonna stop here and check it out. Inside a radar dome. It is absolutely frigid. I have never been in an abandoned building before which had Cold War era radar technology. This is pretty cool. I think it's all radar equipment. There's all kinds of wiring running in the floor. Not a lot is here. Mostly empty. These ladders here go up into the center of each radar dome, so you could perform maintenance. This looks like another radar they have on the side of the building. It's the little part that juts out. Just down the road from the radar domes, I stopped at the rocket range next. Here we are at the Churchill Rocket Research Range, built in 1954 by the Canadian Army to study the effects of the aurora borealis on long-distance communications. I think Elon Musk would like this place. This site took part in the International Geophysical Year from 1957 to 1958, and then in 1959 the US government came along, and it became a test site for solid fuel propellant systems for the PVT-1 rocket, and then in 1960 the whole facility burnt in a fire. So they have these tunnels connecting the different rocket pads. I'm sure because of the extreme weather and snow and wind that they get here. Little pathways to connect each building. So let's go have a look. What's this say? So this is this must be the Arobi Tower, the Arobi launch tower. Maximum personnel. Without rocket, 15 persons. With rocket, 8 persons. Whoa. This is madness. Wow. This contraption is crazy. I feel like I just walked back in time. The US Army stopped using it in 1970, and then the Canadian Upper Atmosphere Research Program used it throughout the 70s and 80s, run by the National Research Council. I would have loved to have been here during a rocket launch. There's just something so badass about a rocket launch. It was largely deserted until 1994, and then one of the coolest things to happen here, a Canadian company came along with the goal of turning it into the world's first commercial spaceport. That company was called Actuate Aerospace. They had ambitious plans for polar orbital launch capacity by both government and the private sector. Unfortunately, they only had one rocket launch, which happened on April 28, 1998. This mission was called Active and comprised a Black Brant 9 carrying a physics payload for the Canadian Space Agency, reaching 400 kilometers above the Earth. Although this launch was a success, it was short-lived because they failed to reach $300 million in funding, and the company folded shortly after. I believe they were visionaries in the space market and ahead of their time, given that now there are many commercial spaceports in existence around the world, fueled by Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk's SpaceX. In total, 3,500 launches took place here, and it's now designated a National Historic Site of Canada. Such a beautiful sunrise. That is so beautiful. So I'm at another famous Churchill landmark, the Miss Piggy plane crash site, which is just resting peacefully on top of these rocks. On the 13th of November 1979, this LAM Airways cargo plane took off from Churchill Airport. The pilots reported mechanical problems with one of the engines shortly after being airborne and attempted to return to the airport. It didn't make it, and it crashed at 9:30 a.m., resulting in 3 crew members injured, but no fatalities. So look at this huge hole that's been ripped out of the bottom of the fuselage. Just shredded by these rocks as it crash landed. It's a good thing no one was seriously injured. Why is it called Miss Piggy? Some rumors have been perpetuated that it was carrying pigs, or that it was overweight, resulting in the humorous nickname. Inside, it's mostly a hollow shell, but it still looks pretty cool on the inside. There's been spray paint in here, and the paint is peeling off the metal, but it's got a wooden floor. I'm going to check out the cockpit up here, see what it looks like. This is a Curtiss C-46 Commando, which was widely used by the US Air Force during World War II, and it looks a little similar to a DC-3. Now I can't fly my drone over it because it's too close to the airport. So this will just be handheld video. With the plane crash site, Churchill also boasts a shipwreck as well. making for a damaged double feature. The highest tides on Hudson Bay occur here, and it is often very windy. These volatile winds were a major factor when the SS Ithaca set off for Rankin Inlet on September the 10th, 1960, carrying electrical generators and supplies. A 130 km/h gale smacked into the freighter, breaking its rudder, and even dropping the anchors didn't stop the winds pushing the out-of-control Ithaca into the coast on September 14th. All 37 crew on board were rescued by the Canadian Coast Guard. The bottom of the ship was ripped wide open by the wind pounding it against the rocks, and the vessel was written off as a complete loss. The wreck is surrounded by water at high tide, but when the tide goes out, it can be walked right up to.